Okay, Mehak, what are the vegetative parts of plant?
Sir, roots, stems, and leaves.
Root, stem, and leaves. Very good. And which organism shows binary fission?
Amoeba.
Amoeba. Very good. And this one, Shreyasi. Shreyasi. Okay, she's not. Okay. Srilasya. Yeah, Srilasya.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you name the organisms in which we find budding?
Hydra, sir.
Hydra and Hydra and is there anything else? Anyone? One more organism in which you find the
Plasmodium.
no. Yeah, Hasnita, what is the type of reproduction in the plasmodium?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Sir, multiple fission.
multiple fission, right? In the case of plasmodium, we find multiple fission. Monish, Monish, what is the type of reproduction in yeast? Monish, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. So what is the type of reproduction in the case of yeast?
Sir, in yeast, I think it's budding.
Budding. Okay. An organism which shows spore formation. Manan. An organism which shows spore formation.
Rhizopus.
Rhizopus. Very good. And Medha Ansini, what are spores?
Sir,
What are spores? And can you explain spore formation?
sir, I didn't remember the proper definition of it.
So that was what last class. I gave you a proper definition of the spore formation. You have to learn up that definition. Anyone who can give me the proper definition of spore formation?
Sir,
Vedika?
spores are single-celled reproductive parts of the rhizopus.
Yeah, very good. Spores are single cell reproductive parts of an organism or single cells capable of reproduction in an organism. The spores are collected or they are collected in a structures called sporangium. So you can also say the method of reproduction by the formation of spores, which are single celled organisms capable of reproduction, is called as spore formation. Everyone should be able to remember this formula of spore formation or definition of spore formation should be learned to everyone. Okay. Definition of spore formation should be learned. Okay, so we have revised everything. Now there are two topics remaining, that is fragmentation and regeneration. So Vedika, what is fragmentation and what is regeneration?
Sir, the body breaks into two or more parts is fragmentation.
Okay, and what is regeneration?
Capacity of regeneration, capacity of an organ to regenerate.
Yeah, capacity of an organism to regenerate its lost parts. That is regeneration.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
organism which has the method of regeneration.
Sir, can
Manan?
I?
Yeah, Mac will speak. Mac, which is the organism that shows the process of regeneration?
Sir, can I?
Yeah, Mehak.
Sir, Hydra and Planaria.
Yeah,
Hydra and Planaria.
Okay, Hydra and Planaria, right? Manan,
Yes, sir.
which is the organism that reproduces by fragmentation?
Pyrogyra.
Which one? Spirogyra.
Yes, sir. Fragmentation. No.
Okay. So which type of organism is this Spirogyra? Who will answer? Rene is there or not? Rene, are you there? Okay. So what type of organism is Spirogyra? Tanishka? Both the Tanishka. Who will answer?
Yes,
What type of organism is Spirogyra?
I don't know, sir.
No, no. Spirogyra is an algae. So do you remember these things? Spirogyra is an algae. Amoeba is a unicellular organism,
And
which is
it is a
eukaryotic.
multicellular organism.
Yeah. So we have seen the more. We have also seen some artificial methods of vegetative propagation. So Manan, what can you name them? The artificial methods of vegetative propagation?
Sir, cutting, layering.
Cutting, layering, and there was one
Grafting.
more, grafting, right? So there were three methods: cutting, layering, and grafting. Today we will look for grafting. We have done cutting, we have done layering, and now we have to do what is grafting. Okay. So by the process of grafting, what does grafting mean? Grafting means the bottom part of a plant is added to the top part, or there is bottom part of one plant and the top part of another plant. Okay. So here, suppose if you have two trees or two plants are over here, not for trees, these are for plants. So if you have a plant over here which has some roots and all, it can have. So for the grafting process, you can take the help of any plant. Suppose if you have one plant, and so what happens now? The bottom part of this plant is cut something like this. Then you take another plant. So these are the two plants. This plant is also cut out from here, or you can cut it from where any place. Now the stalk of one plant, the bottom part of one plant is taken something like this. This you will take the bottom part of one plant, and you will take the top part of another plant. Okay. Something like this, and then join them together. So the bottom part which we take, it is called as the stalk, and the top part which we take, that is called as scion. Okay. So the stalk and scion, they are joined together so that the new plant which we obtain, it will have certain benefits. Certain benefits means some of the properties it will have for the one plant and the other properties will be of the other plant. Okay. So this method is called a grafting method. Now another modern method has been developed, and that modern method is the method of tissue culture.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking. Okay, just wait for one.
Sir,
Okay, now is it audible clearly?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see the tissue culture. Now, in the process of tissue culture, in this process we take some growing part of the plant, right? So here we take a portion of growing part of the plant. So a portion of growing part is taken. So a portion of growing part of plant is taken, and now this portion of the growing plant which is taken, it is kept in a nutritive medium. Okay. First of all, it is centrifuged. So suppose I take a small piece from here, from the plant I take out this small piece. Okay. So that small piece, it is taken and centrifuged. So you will have this small piece of the plant. Okay. So here we will have a small piece of the plant. It will be kept in the nutritive medium after performing centrifugation. So when the centrifugation is performed, if the centrifugation is performed for it, so all the cells of this tissue, since it is a part of the apical tissue, right? And apical tissue is the dividing tissue. So it is centrifuged. By the process of centrifugation, each cell of the tissue is separated out. That means all the cells of the tissue, they are separated from one another. Whatever tissue is there, that separates into individual cells. That means you have individual cells of plants which are living. Now those individual cells of plants, they are put in a nutritive medium. Okay. So you will have some nutritive medium, and in that nutritive medium, suppose we take this nutritive medium, and in this nutritive medium, if you place this, okay, so you have individual cells. Those cells are finding out nutrition, so they will again grow, and here you will have the formation of new plantlets. There will be formation of new plantlets over here. So by the process of tissue culture, we are able to grow a number of plantlets at the same time. It is a very quick method of obtaining a number of plants of a desired variety. If you have a desired variety and you want to grow a number of plants from it, so this is the best method where you will be getting a number of plants in a short duration of time. Okay, so everyone has understood all these methods of asexual reproduction. Okay, so
Yes.
Medha Hansini, in the process of we saw asexual reproduction. So can you tell me how many parents are required in the asexual reproduction?
One, sir.
Only one parent is required.
Yes, sir.
And is there any formation of gametes?
No, I think so.
No, there is no formation of the
Yes,
gametes.
sir. In a sexual reproduction, there is a
Yeah,
use
in
of
the
gametes.
asexual reproduction, there is no formation of gametes.
Yes.
Now we will see sexual mode of reproduction. So in the sexual mode of reproduction, we have the involvement of two individuals. Here two individuals are involved. That means two parents are involved. Two individuals are involved. That means two parents are involved and these two parents which are involved, they are the male and the female. Okay. First, we will see this mode of reproduction in the case of flowering plants. Okay. So everywhere in the mode of sexual reproduction, you will have first the formation of gametes. You will have a male gamete. There will be formation of a male gamete. There will be a female gamete. Male gamete and female gametes, they are the individual cells of the male, and female gamete is the individual cell of the female, which is a type of reproductive cell. For example, in the case of human beings, if we see, the body of the human beings, it consists of two types of cells. Okay, they are the sex cells and the somatic cells. Okay, if we want to reproduce, so there is a certain there are only a few types of cells which are capable of giving rise to new organisms. Then those are, for the male, they are the sperm cells, and for the female, they are that is the ovum. But if you try to reproduce or form another organism with the help of your skin cells, so is it possible? Can we form a new individual by using the skin cells? No. As we just saw in the case of plants, it is possible that you can produce another organism by the tissue culture, but we can't do for the human beings. We can't do for such animals. Okay. For them, as in the body, not all the cells are capable of reproducing into the new organ. Okay. So therefore, it is not possible for all the organisms, and hence there are certain cells which are capable of reproduction, and those are the gametes. Those cells are called as the gamete cells. Okay. So you have a male gamete and female gamete. The male gamete and female gamete, they fuse together. Gamete means cells. These are the cells. Okay. So you cannot mix up any cell. These are some specialized cells. They fuse together to form to form an organism that is called as zygote. So you have the formation of zygote. Okay. Then this zygote, it develops into a complete individual. Zygote develops into a complete individual. So slowly and slowly, by the process of development, zygote develops into the new individual. Okay. So this process we will first observe in the case of plants. We have reproduction in flowering plants. So sexual reproduction in flowering plants we are going to do. If you observe the plants, there are different types of flowers. We generally observe here two types of flowers. That is, you will observe a unisexual flower and a bisexual flower. Okay. So unisexual flower, it bears flowers of only one type of sex. Bears only one sex type of flowers. That means the flower will be either a male flower or it will be a female flower. Okay, it will not bear both the organs. In the case of unisexual flowers, it's just like mustard, papaya. They are the unisexual flowers. They bear the flowers of just one type. Either it would be male or it would be female. Okay, but there are certain flowers which are bisexual. They bear both the parts. Okay, so the bisexual flowers, they bear both male and female parts. They bear both male and female parts on the same flower. So on the same flower, you have a male, a gamete, and on the same flower, you have the female gamete, right? We will see here, for the study, we will be taking a bisexual flower, that is China rose.
Sir?
Okay. Yes. Yes, Ravani.
Sir, sir, I think my net is not that well. It's showing that the internet connection is unstable. So can I off my camera for a few minutes, and once it becomes stable, I'll on it?
Okay, fine. You can.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
can you give examples of bisexual flowers?
Yeah, a bisexual flower is a China rose. A China rose is a bisexual flower. We will draw the diagram of a China rose, and all of you shall draw along with me. Okay? Draw the diagram of this China rose. Okay. First you draw, and then we will label this. Maybe you are able to draw it, draw a better diagram, right? Draw a neat and level diagram. Okay. 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 So everyone has completed the completed drawing of the diagram. Okay. So complete your diagram, beta. Complete and do the labeling. Okay. So have you drawn the diagram, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Manan, have you drawn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now see, only two parts are left over here for labeling. This one is your anther. Okay. Then you have filament. So see here, first of all, whenever you are making the diagram, some of the important things in the diagram, your diagram should be clear. Okay. Then all the labeling should be clear. Clear means all the labeling arrows should be parallel to each other. It should not be that one of the arrow is pointing like this and the other one is like this. Okay. If you are in a habit of making the diagrams like that, so improve it. Okay. All your labeling arrows, they should be parallel to each other. Okay. As you can see here in the diagram, all the labeling arrows, they are parallel to each other. This gives a good look to your diagram. Whatever diagram you are making, name that diagram at the bottom. Name of the diagram should be at the bottom. This is for all biology. Okay. For geography, you have something else. It should be written on the top. If you make the map of India, you write on the top India. Okay. But in bio, whatever you are doing, write the name of the diagram here at the bottom. So we write here a bisexual flower. So this is the name of the diagram which we have to write at the bottom. Okay. Now these two parts, anther and filament taken together, they form the male. These are the male sex organs, or these are the male organs. Okay. Style, stigma, and ovary. Okay. Style, stigma, and ovary, they constitute the female reproductive part. These are female reproductive parts. Okay. So male reproductive parts are anther and filament, and female reproductive parts are stigma, style, and ovary. Okay. Ovary contains ovules. So ovary contains ovules in them. Ovary contains the ovules. Stigma, style, and ovary, they constitute the female reproductive part. Okay. Okay. Now you see the petals. The petals, they are the brilliantly colored, which we observe for all the flowers. They have these brilliantly colored petals. They are generally scented. So they provide some essence or scent of the flower. The sepals and the thalamus, they are there for the support of the flower. And pedicel is attached to the branch. Pedicel is attached to the branch whose work is providing the nutrients to the flower. Okay. So everyone has understood all the portions?
Sir.
Now this female reproductive part, stigma, style, and ovary, together they are also called as carpel. There is another name for them. They are together called carpel. This is another name. So carpel refers to the female reproductive parts, stigma, style, and ovary. And the filament and anther, which were the male organs, they are called as pistil. So together they are called as pistil. Okay. So now everyone is able to remember all the parts of the diagram. Manan? Manan,
Yes, sir.
which type of flower is it? Is it a unisexual flower or a bisexual flower?
Bisexual.
Yeah, it is a bisexual flower. And what do you mean by carpel?
Carpel.
Yeah, carpel.
Carpel is the female reproductive part.
What are the female reproductive parts?
Style, stigma, and ovary.
Okay. Rene? Rene?
Yes,
Okay, if you have a male flower, so what are the parts that you expect to be there? And what are
The
the
male-
parts that, yeah, and what parts will not be there? If a flower is a unisexual flower and it is a male flower, so what parts will be there and what parts will not be there?
So the parts that should be there is the anther and the filament, and the parts that's not expected to be there is the stigma, style, ovules, and ovary.
Okay. So stigma, style, and ovary, they will not be there, but there will be anther and filament. Okay. Petals will be present in both of them. whether it be a male flower or it is a female flower, it will possess the petals. Okay. Then it will also have the sepals, thalamus, and the pedis. So this much is understood to everyone. Now the anther, which we observe over here. So anther is a sac-like structure. It is a bag-like structure which stores the pollen grains. Okay. The work of the anther is the storage of the pollen grains. You can write here. This is also an important question, that what is the role of anther? Okay. So what is the role of anther here? Role of anther is that it stores pollen grains. It is a bag-like structure. Anther is a bag-like structure that store pollen grains. Okay. So pollen grains, they are the male gametes. We just talk of the male gametes. So those male gametes, they are the pollen grains. Okay. Pollen grains are male gametes. So the male gametes, they are stored in a bag, and that bag is called as anther. Okay. And anther is attached to the flower with the help of the filament. Right? Now, if you look up at the female reproductive parts, in the female reproductive parts, you have stigma, style, and ovary. Your stigma is a sticky structure. Stigma is sticky in nature. It is sticky in nature. Then you have style. That style, it is a tube-like structure. Vedika and Tanishka. Tanishka, turn on your camera.
Yes, sir. I
So,
just had to put my water bottle.
okay. So style, it is a tube-like structure. Stigma is sticky in nature. And at the end, you have ovary. So your ovary stores the female gamete. Okay. It stores female gametes. And those female gametes, they are called as ovules. So ovules are the female gametes. Right? So for the process of fertilization, if we observe the process of fertilization, for the process of fertilization, there must be a fusion of male and female gamete. The male and female gamete, they must fuse together, they must meet up together to form a new organism. Now, the process starts with the anther. When the anther ripens up, that means when the pollen grains are ready, they have grown up. When the pollen grains are mature, at that time, anther bursts out. Okay? With the bursting of the anther, there is release of the pollen grains into the air. The pollen grains are released into the air. They may be present on the petals of the flower. They may be present near on the nearby leaves. They may be present anywhere around. Okay, or they may be present on anywhere on the flower. So the work of the anther is over. When the anther bursts out, it releases all the uh, pollen grains to its surroundings. Okay. And pollen grains are very small. Remember, they are unicellular. Pollen grains are unicellular. Okay. So pollen grains are not big, they are small. Okay. So here the pollen grains, they are released. They can either stick on the petals, they can remain on the petals. They, if they are spread everywhere, they will remain on the neighboring plants or on the neighboring flowers. Okay, this is the first step. Now, if any pollen grain is carried onto the stigma of the flower, in a single anther, there are around thousands of pollen grains. Okay, so when an anther bursts out, there is a release of thousands of the pollen grains into the air, and a flower contains around 5 to 7 anther. Okay, so there is a release of a lot of pollen grains into the air, and those pollen grains, if they are on the stigma or they are anywhere on the flower, now if any of the pollen grain is able to reach the stigma, now the target is that I'm just drawing the pollen grain at stigma. Okay, so here you have the stigma. So let this be your ovary. Now, if there is any pollen grain which falls on this, suppose a pollen grain falls on the style. So here you have the pollen grains which fall on the style. Since this, stigma, and stigma is sticky in nature, so it will not allow the pollen grains to move away from there. It will attract the pollen grains and not let them go, as it is sticky in nature. Now, these pollen grains, they will start growing down. These pollen grains, they will start growing down in the form of a tube. Okay, so they will start growing down in the form of tube, and at the end, they will be able to reach this. They will be able, if any of them. So here we observed a structure like this, where we find that here you find your pollen grains. So ovules. Your ovules reside inside the ovary. So these pollen tube, this is your pollen tube which is going towards the ovary. So these are your pollen grain. This is your pollen tube which is growing towards the ovary. And here you have the ovules. So when the pollen grain is growing towards the ovary, then okay, so once the pollen tube is formed, this is the pollen tube which is formed. Now inside it, the nucleus travels inside this. Okay, the nucleus of the pollen grain, it travels inside this. Once the nucleus is able to reach here, so the both, now there is fusion of male gamete and the female gamete. That process of fusion of male and female gamete, that is called as fertilization.
Sir, what is
So
the work of
fertilization.
filaments then?
Yeah,
Sir, what is the work of filament?
yeah. Filament is providing the nutrients and support to the anther.
Yes.
So fertilization, it is the process of, it is the fusion of male and female gamete. So what is fertilization? It is the fusion of male and female gamete, right? So here we observe that both male and female gamete, they have fused together to form a new cell, and the new individual which is formed, that is called as zygote. So fertilization is the fusion of male and female gamete to form a new cell. So that new cell is called zygote. Okay, fertilization of male and fusion of male and female gamete to form a new cell called zygote. Now this new cell which is formed, that zygote, it is diploid. We will understand the meaning of haploid and diploid. All the gamete cells, they are haploid, whereas the zygote is diploid. Okay. So anyone who knows the meaning of haploid and diploid? No one? Medha Ansini, do you know the meaning of the word haploid and diploid? Heard anywhere?
No, sir.
Okay, no one has heard about the haploid cell. Haploid, yeah, I'm writing. Just I'm writing. You have the word haploid and diploid. Okay. See, the word haploid, it means half the number of chromosomes. Haploid means half and diploid means just the double. Okay. For example, in the case of human beings, if you observe in the case of human beings, so in the case of human beings, the chromosome number is 46. We have in our body, we have 46 chromosomes. Okay. And these chromosomes, they occur in pair. There are pairs of 23, 23. So there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, or a total of 46 chromosomes. Now these 23 pairs of chromosomes are there. If they are in pairs, we call them as diploid. So diploid means paired chromosome. If the chromosomes are paired, then we call it a diploid. And if the chromosomes are unpaired, they occur singly, we call them as the haploid. So in the case of male, in the case of human male, we have 46 chromosomes, that means 23 pair. Now when the gamete is formed, okay, by the gamete in the case of male, human male, we mean sperms. So when the gamete is formed, the gamete has only 23 chromosomes, not 23 pair. Understood? So that is why your gamete is haploid, as it is not having the paired chromosomes. Okay. Your actual number of chromosomes is 46, which is 23 pairs, and that is the diploid number of chromosomes. Okay. Now the male gamete will contain 3 chromosomes. Female gamete will also contain 23 chromosomes. And when the formation of zygote takes place, when the zygote is formed, it is formed by the fusion of both of them. So it will have 46 chromosomes. Now it will be a diploid organism which is similar to the parent. See, the parent has 46 chromosomes, right? Whether it be the male or female, it has 46 chromosomes. Then during the gamete formation, the chromosome number is reduced to half. That is, in the gametes, they are haploid. All the gametes are haploid, right? So after that, the gametes fuse together and when they form the zygote, again the zygote has 46 chromosomes, which is same as the parent chromosome. Okay. So everyone has understood about the chromosomes also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So even for the flower, if you observe it for the flower, pollen grains are haploid. They have only half the number of chromosomes. Ovules are also haploid. They also have only half the number of chromosomes. That means they are unpaired chromosomes. Okay. They are unpaired chromosomes. And when there is formation of zygote, when the zygote is formed, so the zygote has the paired chromosomes, which will be called as a diploid cell. So once the zygote is formed, now here, since once the zygote will be formed, then that zygote will develop into a new individual. For the plants, what will happen? The zygote that is formed, after the formation of zygote, your ovule develops into seed. Or you can say the zygote develops into seed. So, is there anyone who is having any doubt regarding this reproduction in a flowering plant?
No, sir.
Okay, what type of reproduction is it? Sexual or asexual?
Sexual reproduction.
Sexual reproduction, right? So there is requirement of male and female both. There is a male gamete as well as there is a female gamete.
Yes, sir.
So understood this completely?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just have a quick revision of this from the beginning. First of all, you have to draw the structure of the diagram. Explain the diagram. What is carpel? What is pistil? Okay. So in this way, if you have to define what are unisexual flower, so a flower that bears only carpel or only pistil, that is an unisexual flower. And a flower which bears both carpel and pistil, that is a bisexual flower. Okay. Oh, the carpel includes stigma, style, and ovary, and pistil includes anther and the filament. Okay. Okay. What is the role of these petals? What can you think of the role? What role do the petals play?
So they protect.
So they attract insects.
Yes, petals attract insects. Okay, as insects are required for the transfer of pollen grains. Okay, pollen grains are required to be transferred from anther to stigma. So maybe they may be required to transfer from anther of one flower to the stigma of the same flower, or they can be transferred from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Okay, so this process is also called as pollination. Here we write another definition, that is pollination. What is pollination? What is pollination? It is the transfer of pollen grains
Pollen grains from one
from
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 from the
from
male
anther from
reproductive
anther to
organ.
stigma. Okay. So transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called pollination. Now, pollination, it can either happen through air or water, or it can happen through insects like butterflies and other insects are there, like how flies. All of them, they are the agents of pollination. They help in transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma and hence in helping the plants. So that is why plants have brilliantly colored petals just to attract the insects so that insects will be attracted towards it. And that is why flowers have nectar. Flowers also possess nectar just to attract the honeybees. Okay. So no problems.